Hey y'all, I'm Catherine and I love to get on here and share my Seint makeup with anybody that'll listen. I am truly a Seint makeup enthusiast. I love it so much. I want people to come across this video and love their Seint even more. I can color match you. I am a Seint artist. I just don't personally call myself that. I don't know why. It's just how I am. We are gonna get started. I'm using the blush bronzer brush. This is my favorite brush, and I'm gonna do my face with this one brush and a dampened sponge. I don't care what makeup that you use. I recommend that you use a dampened sponge. I'm gonna go in with my main shade. I lied. I'm gonna go in with my contour first, and your contours are a little stiffer. You might already know that by now. If you use this makeup, you probably have realized that by now. If you are new to this makeup and haven't ordered yet and are thinking about it, just know that the contours are a little different consistency probably than what you're used to, if you even contour at all. But sometimes I think when people get theirs in the mail and they try it out, they're expecting everything to be the exact same consistency, and it's not. With this brush, it's possible to get a nice contour. I know it doesn't have the straight edge that maybe you're used to seeing, but I just get like half of the bristles with the product. You can also squeeze it like so, and you might have to shimmy in your contour a little bit. And then I just apply it, and I've been using this makeup for 2.5 years. So I've kind of just learned how to do it without having to do the squeezing, but you know, for the sake of this video, I don't normally contour my nose. I just haven't mastered it. I have like a very bumpy, large red nose that gives me issues. So you might notice when I'm contouring, like this shadow is so prominent, and then when I try to put my contour on, I have a bump here and a bump here, and the makeup just doesn't stick to it. So I just kind of go with it and then when it's time to blend, I deal with it. So we'll just leave it like so. So that's my contour. Did the cheekbone. I started at the top of my ear. I went down a little bit at a vertical. I didn't go totally straight across. This side, it looks like a little higher, but that's okay. It'll all work out. And then did forehead. I stay away from my temples because they're already kind of indenting, and I don't want them to look like they're indenting more. So I try to keep that bright. And then I have a birthmark here. Our contours do have coverage, but I might just add a little more in my hairline. This side of my face has the most age spots and my birthmark, so I kind of have to play around with this side a little bit more. I'm gonna go ahead and go in with my brightening, and I don't use as much brightening as some, so I just use my fingers for this part usually, and I'm only gonna put a little bit under my eye where my darker points are. Like even this part, I don't know, kind of didn't want to go up that high, but that's all right. And then here, I don't put too much because I don't want to highlight my my crow's feet around my eyes. So just remember, everywhere you put a brighter color is going to bring attention to, like it pulls forward. So pick and choose, you know. I don't put much, if any, on my forehead because I have lines. I don't do Botox yet or anything like that. I'm sure if I do one day, maybe I'll put more brightener there, but for now I don't. Okay, so next is my main shade, and I do want to tell you, even with the amount of product, like you can still see my contour, I'm still able to fan out the bristles because I don't have too much product. That is the main issue that people have with this makeup when they're right off the bat not sure about it. It's because they're using too much. It's either a color issue or using too much product. So with my main shade, I'm just gonna go in a couple times and then I'm gonna stamp it and stipple press into the skin, whatever you want to call it. I don't do a whole lot of like swirling around my, at least while you're starting out with this makeup. I just recommend stamping it. Once you get more of a feel, you can kind of see just then I was kind of sweeping, like it's like a press sweep. And I just love how the end of this brush applies it. It's just the perfect amount of coverage. And I will just press this in. And sometimes in smaller areas, I'll just kind of squeeze the bristles together like so. And also, I'm gonna just use my fingers for my eyelids. I'm going in with my main shade on my lids just because I have a little bit more discoloration to cover. So I just go in like so. You could squeeze your bristles together and just get that in there. You know that little bluish purple divot that a lot of us have? I do recommend trying to cover that with your main shade because your darker shade will cover up the darker pigment on your face. As you can see, I've still got quite a bit of redness. So don't be scared to go in after and just, you know, spot conceal as needed. There's no rules against that. Okay, so I'm gonna take this end and just stipple out my brightener. I always go in with my fingers around my eyes to blend this in. I always try to remind myself to say blend it in, don't blend it out, because I feel like blending it out makes it go away. I mean, sometimes if you put a little too much of something on, you do blend it out, you know, which is so one of the advantages of this cream is that it's so easy to do. But that's also a negative. It's so easy to do that sometimes people message me and are like, I can't see my contour. I'm like, oh, you're probably just over blending it because it's easy to do. I mean, that I have the urge to just totally blend that out because it's darker, right? But just let your body kind of do its work. We have Bello Bronzer. This is one of my favorite products of Seint. So this is a sheer product. The first three have coverage. I use the bronzer to help blend out the contour, and I always stipple up because I don't want to bring it farther down. And I just continue on this side, and I would say the cheek contour is where a lot of people feel like they aren't getting the definition like maybe they're seeing online. And then I just take, and I want to make sure it's pushed into my hairline. And you want to be sure that you don't have any harsh lines. So I just make sure to stipple where anything is coming together, and then be sure to bring that contour down your neck. And then I'm also, you know, I have the bronzer, and it's gonna just make everything cohesive. And then very loosely, I will take bronzer on. See, you can hardly even see that any's there. And I'll just sweep this down my nose. And see how you can just still see it's a little darker there? That's when this makeup is so fun. Just go in and fix it on up. And look, now it's not as aggressive. So we'll just leave that there for now. Lip and cheek is next. So you will see people, oh, this is, okay. We gotta trust the process here. 1, 2, we're gonna just dot it on. A lot of times will just, not as much on this side. I will just go in with my brush and put it on, but I'm, you know, for the sake of the video, then I'm gonna do a little ombre. I'm really liking this color right now. Oh, it's so pretty. This is Saint Tropez and this is Dahlia. So I'll put that on the apples. Okay, and I will always start at the back, pounce that, pounce, 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 and then work my way up so that it's lighter on the apples of my cheeks. Do this, I just feel like dotting it on is like an added step. I just like, I don't know, I just usually, you know, pounce in and apply it. And then it's okay. Like, I know that can be, if that was on your face, you might be a little intimidated, but this is where the fluffy end will come in. I just take this and fluff away. I'm not as worried about this being like defined or anything. I just want it to be youthful, and I like it if it gets little on my forehead. Some people will put it on their nose. I already have a redder nose, so I just don't like to add more. If I'm feeling frisky, maybe I will. That probably wasn't the right word. All right, so I'm gonna just add a little bit of Saint to my eyes. And I'm just using my fingers. If you have it, obviously, if you have more than one brush, or, you know, I'm doing this for the video, so if you don't like to use your fingers, feel free to use whatever you got. And then I'm even gonna put, I don't want it to look like I have pink eye, but I'm gonna just add a little bit to my outer corner of Dahlia. And I'll just go in and soften this up. And I'm just using that brush, my favorite end. I noticed that this side has a little more blush, and I'm appreciating that. So I'm gonna actually add a little bit. I feel like because I have the most discoloration over here, that my blush gets lost, you know, in my birthmark a little bit. So I have to add a little extra to make sure that pigment is real good and visible. All right, dampen sponge time. So this, I prepped my face with a setting spray. I used a more longer lasting one that's marketed more towards longer lasting. It's just a drugstore. Here, this e.l.f. setting spray, because I'm about to go work in a garden, gonna help do something with some tomatoes. So I wanted something that would really help my makeup last and in the heat. Seint has a setting spray, and I really enjoy this if I'm just needing my makeup to look pretty and last, you know, about 6 hours. It's perfect, but I need something with a little bit more power, but also more alcohol. So it's kind of like a, you know, you have to weigh out the pros and cons in that situation. So I sprayed this on my sponge at the beginning and pressed the setting spray into my skin. So now this sponge still has some left over, and I just press this into my skin. It's going to help set it. It's going to press this makeup nicely into my skin. I'm not like clogging my pores or anything. I'm making sure it's a skin-like finish, and then it'll remove excess product if you got too much. I highly recommend this step. Even if you're using a liquid foundation with a, you know, foundation brush, after you've gone in, use this. It'll help get rid of brush strokes. It really makes your skin look like skin. If you feel like some of your blush disappeared, or if you lost coverage, easy peasy. You just go in and simply add a little more coverage. There's no, like, once something is just on your face, like, you have the ability to mess around with it because it's not a setting foundation. You have to set it. So since we're talking about that, setting powder. This is the Vanilla Dust setting powder. This is one that fits in your palette. It's a Seint powder. If you have your favorite, stick with that. But this will help set your makeup. Some people set their whole face. I do not love to do that. Where I just want loosely, I can just go all crazy in my powder because I don't have anything next to it. If you have a full palette, just be careful since this brush is a little larger, and I will just sweep that on there. I am not using much powder. I want my face to have this glow. I also like to go in with the dense in and where I have more pores I'll just press that into. And then I also like to use the Denson to set my nose because that needs a little TLC. And I also tend to lose my makeup right in here. So just know, if you powder areas that are a little glowy that you want to mattify, just set it with a powder and it'll help blur it a little bit. All right, I'll be right back and get some mascara on. Okay. I do want to tell y'all that while I was putting my mascara on with my mirror close up, I feel like I lost my contour. It blends out like once you get your other products on, so don't be scared of the contour. So I'm gonna go back in and just simply add a little more right here, a little more right here. So don't be nervous. And of course, it's just makeup. Always remember that it's just makeup. So I don't think makeup should be scary. I know sometimes people get their makeup in the mail and they're like, oh, I'm nervous, I haven't opened it yet, you know, and it should be exciting but not scary. I probably shouldn't have set with the powder yet, but it's all right. We'll have some fun with this. I'm going to show y'all. Again, with my birthmark and stuff, it can kind of create its own contour almost over on this side. Okay, I'm gonna go in with I'm gonna mix my brightening shade and my main shade. And what I'm gonna do is kind of intensify that, magic erase it, like that. This turned into kind of a different video than I was intending, but oh well. And then I'm gonna do it on this side. And remember too, when I applied my contour at the beginning, all this with this brush, this side seemed higher than this side. You just gotta trust the process. As fun as it is making videos and stuff, I just want everybody to know that y'all are only able to see one dimension. Just have realistic expectations when it comes to makeup. Just my advice. I about forgot to do my lips. I'm gonna go in with contour. Loosely line my lips, and I'm going in with this bright pink, but I'm not going to just put it on to its like thickest form. I use it more like a lip stain. So look, it's pretty, right? And then mixed with the contour. So that's this color. You control your makeup. Don't let your makeup control you. You control the amount that you want on, you know? So, this is Seint makeup. One brush, blush bronzer brush. I do enjoy a lighter coverage than some, but like I said, you control your makeup, so you get to control how much you have on. Pretty, right? Look at that. Oh, I didn't use my illuminator. Oh my gosh, y'all. Okay. This is Honey Cream Illuminator. There's powders and creams. I usually recommend the creams. Not bad. This makeup is pretty glowy on its own, but look at that. It's just so pretty. Look, put more on. And it just kind of looks just fresh and glowy. I'll actually say goodbye now. Again, oh, there's my husband. Okay. I will link everything down below. I would love to color match you if you've never been color matched. If you have any questions, ask in the comments, and I would just love to assist you. Y'all have a great day. I will see you soon. Bye, y'all.